Well, hello everyone, my name is Zachary O'Shea, and this is Box of Teeth. It is another day of the week, so I have another horror-themed monster for Dungeons & Dragons for all of you. Here in the back half of July, we're going over a horror-themed antagonist and her minions that you can use for a Dungeons & Dragons campaign. That antagonist is the Vespidae. She's basically a riff off of the classic movie monster, The Fly. She was an arcanist and an alchemist. Along with her lover, she was developing waystones that would be available to the common man and woman so they can use teleportation magic instead of having to travel overland. At the time, and still currently, teleportation in the area is controlled by the powerful Planar Guild. They only cater to the rich and the powerful, making them powerful themselves, and oligarchs. Whether through sabotage or just a horrible accident in one of the experiments, the Vespidae was mixed with a wasp and came out as some sort of terrible mutated thing that could not live on its own and is suspended in electric goo. Her lover also built her an exoskeleton that she wears as she extracts vengeance, whether it's warranted or not, and doesn't care about the collateral damage that she causes. This is where her villainy comes in. She covers 3 different kinds of horror, that being scientific horror, body horror, and planar/cosmic horror. We're going to cover another one of her minions, a sapphire wasp, that really leans into all 3 of those. Step 4, no escape. I have found that slod husbandry, for lack of a better term, really suits me. Despite all of your efforts, I know I am not a woman, I am some kind of abomination, and I feel a kinship to these otherworldly horrors. I am no longer of this world as well, but I will do my best to see it set right. While the ruby wasps were adept at destroying lesser magi and their guards, I needed something that's more heavy-hitting, and that's where the sapphire wasp came in. Not only is it more efficient at tearing apart its targets, its unique frequencies produced by the crystal that it has impairs any sort of teleportation magic around it. This means that once the Planar Guild wizards are at their weakest and they attempt to run away, they cannot, and they quickly die. Cornered like rats, we will exterminate them with prejudice. Our vengeance is nearly at hand. A sapphire wasp is as long as a Goliath is tall. It's covered in armored plates of kobold that are alchemically treated to be extra tough. It has long segmented limbs and beautiful wings of blue crystal that buzz and are strange discordant harmony whenever it flies. The bottom of the chassis is covered in frosted glass through which one can see the galvanic energy from its engine bouncing about, as well as lumps of misshapen flesh and sinew, all of that lightning cascading down to its stinger. Instead of an eye, it has a large blue gem in the middle of its face between 2 twitching antennae. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Sapphire Wasp statistics for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. A Sapphire Wasp is a challenge rating 6 medium construct that is unaligned. It's got a decent armor class and an okay number of hit points. It has damage resistance to cold and fire, damage immunity to lightning and poison, and a variety of condition immunities. It does have dark vision and tremor sense. It does have telepathy, but it only can communicate telepathically in common or draconic. Ability-wise, it does have magic resistance, as well as self-repair, which is a lesser form of regeneration that does not work if it takes acid or necrotic damage. Its important ability is teleportation ban. Any creature that attempts to use Misty Step, teleportation, or a like effect/spell within 30 feet of the construct automatically has that spell fail and expends any spell slots that were involved. In addition, a creature cannot select a space within 30 feet of the wasp to teleport into. The wasp can turn on and off this ability as a bonus action. Attack-wise, the Sapphire Wasp has multi-attack for bite and stinger. The bite does some piercing, the stinger does some piercing and lightning damage. In addition, it does have a recharge action of reality stretch, so it warps the 20-foot area around it with chaos magic. That area becomes difficult ground until the start of the wasp's next turn. All creatures within the area effect have to go ahead and make a strength save, or they're pulled toward the wasp and take force damage. At the start of the wasp's next turn, all creatures that fail that save are then repulsed violently away from it, taking more force damage and are knocked prone. I hope that you enjoyed the Sapphire Wasp today. We have a couple more colors to go because they are based off the various slot. While they're meant to be used with the Vespidae, I'd love to hear how you would use them in your own campaign down in the comments below. You can find the wasps, the Vespidae, and hundreds of other horror-themed monsters, all for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. They're all perfectly free at boxofteeth.blogspot.com. If you're more interested in the non-Dungeons & Dragons horror-related projects that I have, whether it's role-playing games or the fiction that I write that includes Grease Paint right there, it's got a killer clown, Book 2, Psychopomps, the cover's right here. Its release date will be announced soon. It's going to be sometime in August, to be sure. You can always go to www.zacharyoshay.com. As always, thank you for your time and your attention, and have a wonderful rest of the day.